name is Joshua Mcfarland. I'm in recovery for drugs and alcohol.
So, with having parents who struggled with substance use disorders, did you ever get any help at school? Any outside family be able to provide comfort?
Well, I'm not very social, so I didn't really speak out at all about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was strange because my immediate family knew about it, but they really didn't say much either. And even my grandparents had the same issues, so it's a family type passing down.
Right.
Alcoholism, definitely. So it was kind of like almost like a secret where everybody's just like, oh, just deal with it type of thing. I kind of wish I would have, spoke out and got some help, and it was even me looking back in my own life, I could pick out things where it's like, you might have this issue, just wanting excess food, looking to things and always wanted to be around certain people and for comfort, little hints that you might have an issue.
When did you start experimenting with alcohol or drugs?
Alcohol and drugs. 17. Smoking marijuana, and I went straight for it. I was all day, every day type of thing. And then one day, me and my sister, because we were always doing this stuff together, we decided to stop smoking weed and move to drinking alcohol. And I can't handle my alcohol. I would, act a fool. I'd be getting arrested all the time. I don't know, I think I have like 16 convictions, minor stupid things, but 3 OVIs. Another, I know this is drug and alcohol, but self-harm was one of my things when I was drinking. So one of the times I got my artery, and it caused all kinds of issues with my arm. They had to do a bunch of surgeries, and that's when I got on pain medicine after the surgery. And it wasn't like I got addicted to the pain meds, but after that I just didn't care about not, like, my nevers. I would never smoke crack or do heroin, do this or that. All of a sudden those were gone. So after that I just jumped to whatever I felt like at the time and just went ahead and did those things. I always loved alcohol though. Alcohol is my drug choice, I guess. And yeah, so every time I go in to see Judge Frost, I don't know if you know him, but he would always be telling me, if you would just quit drinking, this would never happen, because I would always get in trouble if I was drinking. And he always would set me up with IOP, outpatient rehab, counseling, any type of help. He was always there to try to get me some help. Me, I knew I had a problem. My first time drinking, I was proclaiming I'm an alcoholic and I don't care type of thing. And I just knew that these things came with being an alcoholic. My mom and dad were always in trouble. I just knew it came with it, and it was either stop drinking or just deal with what came along. So I would go through the treatments. I would be honest and open, but with no intent on quitting. You got to do that in order for any kind of help to happen.
Right. So you've been in recovery for a little over 5 years now. What was life like, if you could describe life, right that month before you got sober?
Not so much alcohol, because I was getting tired of all the troubles it was causing me. I lost an opportunity at work to do healthcare, which I always wanted to do growing up. So I was kind of upset about that, so I knew I wanted to quit drinking. And I decided to go see an old friend, and as soon as I showed up at her house, she had a beer and pills in her hand and just handed them to me. And as soon as I took a drink and the pills, I don't remember anything after that. I got arrested that day. So when I got out of jail, I moved back in with my grandmother. still using drugs, and we had a little bit of a conversation, but I don't know, one night, so I had no intention on quitting the drugs. One night I was under the influence and I felt like I was dying, which was an often thing with the drug I was using at the time. And the next day I had conviction. Like, I couldn't stand up almost. It was, my knees were shaking. I felt terrible, and I felt like I wasn't living life the way I should be. And wish I could just capture this in words. Yeah, I was instantly changed, pretty much. But I had a conversation with my grandmother, and in that conversation, she was talking about my drug use in the most kind way ever. She's a very saintly woman, and I got upset about it, which I usually wouldn't get upset about when somebody confronted me about my issues. And I just went outside and started bawling and called out, to God, and was just like, "This is it. Okay, I'm ready to do what you want to do." And he did that in me because I didn't want to quit, but he just gave me that conviction and just set me off into this path. So when I was in rehab, I picked up on a lot of the trigger signs and symptoms, and how to look towards not relapsing was pretty much the main thing I got out of that. Instead of living a good, productive life, it was more of making sure you don't relapse, which that was really helpful for me. And I gained a friend while I was in there, and he was actually the one that got me to want to move into a sober living house afterwards. So I, continued my path. And if I didn't move in there, I don't know, where I would have ended up. Who knows?
Right.
So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So once you moved into the sober living house, what'd you do with your life? How'd you start rebuilding?
Okay, so I continued my IOP, which was 3 days a week, and they had me go to 10 meetings a week, which was a pretty good start. I don't think you actually had to do that many, but I definitely wanted to do as much as possible. And in those meetings, those people, helped me out a lot. The difference between sober recovery and the regular AA meetings is it's Christ-centered. I felt like I can gain my relationship with Christ through that recovery process. And I can openly talk about how my relationship with God was going, and other people in the faith were able to build me up and get me involved, and just celebrating. I feel like we could just celebrate a little bit better, or more happily than the meetings.
How's your relationship with your family now? Your family members?
Okay, so drastically improved. I now have a relationship with my father, because we both have the same thing where we don't like to talk too much. I don't know why that is, but so finally now I have that inner want to have a relationship with him, and me wanting that, it brings it out of him, and now we can talk, and we have a good relationship today. And with my mother, my resentments and all the negative stuff completely gone. I see things differently, what this addiction thing is all about, what it does to people, what it did to me, what it did to her, and you can just forgive somebody, just knowing that they just don't know. And with that relationship, she's drastically improved. She's, trying, I think she's probably trying to impress me for some reason, but it's doing a lot of good. But yeah, and the rest of my family, they just call on me when they need me, and I'm there to help. I'm useful, I'm productive, and they can actually see a change in me.
How about with your grandma?
Oh yeah, my grandmother. Oh, she's the one that just has never-ending love. So I didn't really get to see a difference in her. She was always that person, but you could just tell she's proud of me and she's so happy for me, and she just wants to see me more and more. I often think she has things go wrong at her house often just to get me over there.
Right.
So,
What was something that you learned from your addiction?
forgiveness. So when I was able to accept God's forgiveness for me, it just opened up a whole window to be able to forgive others, and also just being stuck in the past isn't productive for me. I gotta live for today and just say yes to what God has for me for today. And resentments and unforgiveness just doesn't produce life in life.
What dreams do you have for yourself?
Dreams I have today is just to do what God wants me to do in all circumstances. Just to try to bring glory to Him, and and I want to help others. I pray that whatever is going on with this, that it does help with people find sobriety and peace and happiness. And so I feel if you just open a line of communication with the Lord and seek Him, and He will give you all the things you need to walk this road of recovery out, and He will produce good relationships, good works. He'll have you producing good things in life, and He just gives life abundantly.